Hey everyone, welcome to Learn English podcast. Today, let's imagine a situation that many travelers face at the airport. Lost luggage. A passenger named Emma is standing at the baggage claim area, waiting for her suitcase. The conveyor belt keeps moving, but her bag doesn't appear. Feeling worried, she walks up to the airport staff for help. She explains that her suitcase didn't come out and asks what she should do. The staff member listens calmly and asks to see her baggage tag. Emma hands it over, looking anxious. After checking the details, the staff tells her that her luggage was delayed and will arrive on the next flight. Emma feels shocked at first and asks when she will get it. The staff reassures her not to worry. The suitcase will be delivered directly to her hotel the next morning. Emma lets out a sigh of relief and says she was scared she would be without her things for the whole trip. The staff explains kindly that this happens sometimes, but the airport always makes sure the luggage reaches the passenger safely. Emma smiles faintly, feeling more relaxed now, and thanks the staff for their help. The staff warmly reminds her to leave her hotel address so the bag can be delivered right away. Emma agrees and appreciates their patience and support. Before leaving, the staff asks if there is anything else she needs help with. Emma smiles again and says that's all, thanking them once more. With a polite goodbye, the staff wishes her a pleasant stay. Emma walks away, comforted by the thought that her suitcase will soon be back with her, and her trip can continue smoothly. Our story begins with Sarah, a cheerful passenger who has just arrived at the airport. She walks up to the check-in counter, passport and ticket in hand. With a bright smile, she greets the airline staff and explains that she's flying to New York. The staff warmly greets her back, checks her booking and confirms her seat. Lisa admits that she's excited because it's her very first trip to New York. The staff shares in her excitement and asks if she has any bags to check in. Sarah places her suitcase on the scale, a little nervous that it might be too heavy. To her relief, it's only 19 kilos, well under the limit. Both laugh about how travelers often pack too many clothes just to be safe. Once her bag is checked in, Sarah receives her boarding pass and finds out she has a window seat, which makes her even happier. She's told that boarding will start at 7:30 p.m. at gate 12. Sarah decides she might get a coffee before heading through security. The staff smiles and reassures her that coffee is always a good idea before a long flight. After a few more kind words and reminders, Sarah thanks the staff for their help. With her passport and boarding pass in hand, she leaves the counter, her excitement growing for her first adventure to New York. In another part of the city, Tom is trying to figure out how to get to the airport. He stops a local named Anna and politely asks for help. Tom explains that he needs to reach City International Airport but isn't sure about the best way. He doesn't have a car, so he's thinking about public transport. Anna listens kindly and tells him the easiest way is to take the airport bus from the central bus station. Since Tom just arrived yesterday, he doesn't know the city well. Anna patiently explains. Walk straight, turn right at the second traffic light, and he'll see a big sign for the bus station. Once there, he should look for the bright blue Airport Express bus, which leaves every 30 minutes. Tom feels relieved but still worried about the time. His flight is at 3 p.m. Anna checks the time and reassures him that it's only 11:30, so he has plenty of time. Grateful for the directions, Tom thanks her warmly and says this advice saved him money and stress compared to taking a taxi. Anna laughs softly, reminding him that buses are not only cheaper but also comfortable. With a lighter heart, Tom heads off to catch his bus, while Anna wishes him safe travels. At the airport, another passenger named David approaches the security checkpoint. He is flying alone for the first time and feels nervous. The officer greets him politely and asks for his boarding pass and ID. David hands them over and admits that he hopes he's doing everything right. The officer reassures him and explains the process step by step. David carefully places his backpack, laptop, tablet, and other belongings on the tray. He removes his shoes, belt, and pocket items, joking about how easy it is to forget the belt. The officer smiles, saying many travelers make the same mistake. David walks through the metal detector, but it beeps. His heart jumps, but the officer quickly checks and explains that it's only his watch. Relieved, David collects his things and laughs about nearly forgetting his boarding pass. The officer reminds him gently to always double-check the trays. Feeling much calmer, David thanks the officer for being so kind and guiding him through. With more confidence, he heads toward his gate, ready for the flight ahead. Now let's join Sarah, who has just boarded her plane. The flight attendant greets her warmly and checks her boarding pass. Sarah is guided to her seat, 14C, and asks if she can place her bag in the overhead compartment. The attendant helps her and makes sure she is comfortable. Sarah admits she feels excited but also nervous. It's her first long flight. The flight attendant reassures her, explaining that pillows, blankets, and refreshments will be provided, and there's also an entertainment screen for movies and music. Sarah feels much better after hearing this. She accepts a glass of water before takeoff and thanks the attendant for being so kind. As she fastens her seatbelt, Sarah realizes that the journey might not be as uncomfortable as she feared. With a smile, she looks forward to the adventure awaiting her in London. At the passport control counter, Maria approaches nervously. It's her first time flying internationally, and she's unsure what to expect. The officer greets her politely and asks for her passport. Maria explains that she's visiting London for a vacation and will be staying 1 week. The officer asks about her return ticket, which she provides without hesitation. Everything looks fine, and the officer asks what she plans to see. Maria excitedly lists the London Eye, Big Ben, and the British Museum. The officer smiles and suggests she also try local food while exploring. Maria relaxes and smiles brightly as the officer hands back her passport and welcomes her. She thanks the officer warmly for being so kind. With her passport safely in hand, Maria walks away with growing excitement for her holiday. John is waiting at the boarding gate for his flight to Paris. The staff announces that boarding will soon begin and asks passengers to have their passes ready. John nervously approaches, handing over his boarding pass. The staff confirms his seat number and assures him that the flight is on time. John admits he was worried about delays, but the cheerful staff reassures him there's no need to stress. Since it's his first time with this airline, John feels a little nervous, but he's told everything will be smooth and the flight attendants will guide him if needed. Feeling reassured, John smiles and thanks the staff. With his boarding pass in hand, he prepares to step onto the plane, ready for his journey to Paris. David, another traveler, finds himself a little lost inside the airport. He approaches the information desk and politely asks for help. The staff greets him kindly and listens as David explains he is trying to find gate 22 but can't see any signs. The staff explains clearly. Walk straight down the hall, then take the escalator up 1 floor. Should take about 10 minutes to walk there. David feels nervous about missing his flight, but the staff reassures him that there are signs along the way and more staff to guide him if needed. David chuckles softly, admitting that it's his first time in this airport. The staff smiles and reminds him that airports can feel big and confusing, but once you follow the signs, it's quite simple. David feels relieved, thanks the staff warmly, and sets off toward his gate with much more confidence. Finally, let's return to Emma, who has just landed. She's waiting at the baggage claim but realizes her suitcase hasn't arrived. Feeling worried, she approaches the airport staff and explains her problem. The staff calmly asks for her baggage tag and checks the details. They explain that her luggage was delayed and will arrive on the next flight. Lisa looks shocked but quickly feels better when she hears it will be delivered directly to her hotel the next morning. She sighs with relief, admitting she was scared she'd be without her things for the entire trip. The staff reassures her with a warm smile, asking her to leave her hotel address so they can deliver it right away. Emma agrees, thanks them again, and walks away comforted. She now feels ready to enjoy her trip, knowing her suitcase will soon